In the fall of 1982, someone walked into grocery stores and drugstores across Chicago, picked bottles of Tylenol off the shelves, took them home, pulled apart every single capsule, filled them with enough cyanide to kill a person in 15 minutes, resealed everything perfectly, and put them back on the shelves. 7 people died, and 42 years later, nobody has ever been charged. This is the story of the Chicago Tylenol murders, the most consequential unsolved crime in American history. It begins on the morning of September 29, 1982. A 12-year-old girl named Mary Kellerman woke up in her home in Elk Grove Village, just outside Chicago. She had a sore throat and a runny nose. Her parents gave her 1 extra-strength Tylenol capsule and sent her to get ready for school. Mary Kellerman was dead by 7 in the morning. Less than 10 miles away that same afternoon, a 27-year-old postal worker named Adam Janus collapsed at his home in Arlington Heights. He was rushed to hospital and pronounced dead. His family gathered at his house that evening to grieve. His brother Stanley and his sister-in-law Teresa both took Tylenol from the same bottle Adam had used earlier that day. Stanley and Teresa both died within hours. 3 people from the same family, same bottle, same day. Over the next few days, 3 more people died across the Chicago suburbs. A flight attendant named Paula Prince, a new mother named Mary Reiner, a phone company employee named Mary McFarland. All of them had taken extra-strength Tylenol before collapsing, 7 people in total, ranging in age from 12 to 35, all dead from potassium cyanide, no connection to each other, no shared location, no shared history. Completely random. The realization of what had happened hit Chicago like a bomb. Police drove through neighborhoods with loudspeakers blaring, "Do not take Tylenol until further notice." Johnson & Johnson recalled 31 million bottles at a cost of $100 million. It was the first mass recall in American history. The mayor of Chicago banned the sale of the drug entirely, and a team of public health workers spent weeks manually inspecting 80,000 individual capsules one by one because there was no chemical test for cyanide fast enough. They confirmed what investigators already suspected. Someone had physically removed the bottles from store shelves, pulled the gelatin capsules apart by hand, replaced the medication powder with potassium cyanide crystals, reassembled the capsules perfectly, resealed the packaging, and returned the bottles to the shelves across multiple stores across the entire Chicago area. Then they waited. A week after the first deaths, a handwritten letter arrived at Johnson & Johnson headquarters. It read, "Since the cyanide is inside the gelatin, it is easy to get buyers to swallow the bitter pill. So far, I have spent less than $50, and it takes me less than 10 minutes per bottle. Unless you transfer $1 million to a specific postal box, the deaths will continue." Fingerprints on the letter led investigators to a man named James Lewis. He was arrested in New York City in December 1982, but here is where the story gets frustrating. Lewis was convicted of extortion for writing the letter. He went to prison for 10 years. But investigators could never put him in Chicago, could not find his fingerprints on any of the bottles, could not place him at any of the stores. The DNA recovered from the bottles did not match him. They could not charge him with murder. After his conviction, Lewis called the FBI from prison and said he wanted to help solve the case. He sat down for hours of interviews without his lawyer present, and what he did in those meetings baffled investigators for decades. He drew detailed diagrams, step-by-step instructions showing exactly how a person could pull apart Tylenol capsules and refill them with cyanide without poisoning themselves. He described exactly what the killer would have been thinking, how they would have moved through the stores, which bottles to target, how to reseal everything perfectly. Investigators sat across from him and kept asking themselves the same question. Why does this man know all of this in such specific detail? Lewis suggested he could get investigators close to the real killer, but he wanted immunity. They could not give it. The meetings ended. He was released from prison, moved to Boston. In later years, he self-published a novel about lead poisoning called Poison. He gave interviews in which he denied the murders while simultaneously describing the methodology in extraordinary detail. He asked families of victims if they knew what it felt like to be falsely accused for 40 years. James Lewis died of natural causes in Cambridge, Massachusetts in July 2023, at age 76, without ever being charged with the murders. The case has never been solved. The FBI later requested DNA from Ted Kaczynski, the Unabomber who had family connections to suburban Chicago in 1982. His DNA did not match. A dock worker named Roger Arnold was investigated. His DNA did not match either. Arnold was so enraged at being publicly named as a suspect that he stalked the bar owner who had reported him and shot and killed a man he thought was responsible. He had the wrong person. The Tylenol murders changed the entire world. Before 1982, you could walk into any store and open any product on the shelf. Tylenol, peanut butter, anything. There were no safety seals, no tamper-evident packaging, nothing. Every bottle of medication you have ever opened in your life, every foil seal you have ever broken, every child-proof cap you have ever struggled with, all of it exists because of what one unknown person did in Chicago in the fall of 1982. 7 people died taking something that was supposed to make them feel better, a 12-year-old girl with a sore throat, a man whose entire family died from the same bottle, a flight attendant, a new mother. Nobody has ever answered for any of it. That is the case. Nova out.